I remember coming to the room and I just heard D'Lo say, "Yo, isn't that the cat that looks?" And they're like, "Shh, shh." And I was kind of like, I had my shades on, so I just acted like I didn't know what they were saying. But I started smirking like, so I'm escorting Dwayne downstairs.
Yeah,
they're introducing him. Mind you, he and I are walking side by side. We're wearing similar shirts like this.
Yeah,
both had our shades on. We both had sideburns on. Our hair, dog. We were walking and people were like this.
On, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have Eric the Smoke Moran on the Blerd Beyond podcast.
Hey man,
welcome.
What's going on, everyone? How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Man, I can't wait to see what y'all gonna be talking about, man. I've been hearing a lot. I'm just glad to be on here. Thank you, Jay, for having me. Rights, Foo. Can't wait to be discussing what the newest topics that y'all want to discuss. I got a few topics I want to throw in. Let's get it started, man. I'll break it down, whatever y'all want to talk about. Let's get this John started. And then, anything y'all want to know, I'll be more than happy to talk about.
And if you don't know, Eric is a pioneer of Blerd culture from back in the day. He also cosplays, and he's an actor, and he's a former wrestler as well.
I've been, I've been cosplaying before the term cosplay. It was called cosplay, but they called it costume. I've been cosplaying since the 80s, mid 80s and stuff back in 84. From that point on, was cosplaying. People used to think I was an undercover cop because I was changing my appearance so much in high school. They were calling me 21 Jump Street. From there, after high school, I went in the Marine Corps, did my time, served my country as a United States Marine. From there, in between the time I would go to movies, I would still get dressed up. When the movie Dick Tracy came out, I would get my yellow hat, long yellow trench coat, go see Dick Tracy and stuff in the early 90s and all. Fast forward, after I got service in the 90s, early 90s and all, became, father and all. Fatherhood kind of took over for a minute, but I was still doing costuming, everything else, but there were no places to go to really let loose my love of cosplay or costuming at that time. Not until I started becoming a pro wrestler, where I got to cut loose and become bigger than life characters. When I was a United States Marine, to me it was the hero. To me, the hero aspect of being a Marine was serving the country like G.I. Joe. It was very heroic. So there was something very heroic about that, and especially during that era, me coming up and joining and becoming a pro wrestler, it was a next best thing. From being a pro wrestler, it segued into me going to Comic-Cons and appearing as a pro wrestler, signing autographs and everything, because people basically were coming out who were fans of mine and stuff. And I saw at those Comic-Cons that, hey, I can wear costumes here. So I was one of the first celebrity guests that was breaking out wearing costumes. I remember I was breaking out my Rocketeer costumes, and the other celebrities were looking at me like, yo, Smoke? And I'm like doing all this stuff and all. I had time in my life, and I just started just breaking out all these costumes and everything else. During that time, I was end up doing movies. Prior to that, I was modeling. So it was just like a combination of all these different elements and all. So when I would go to cons, we're talking about the early 2000s. I was going to Comic-Cons where people of color were very far in between. There might be 10 of us in a sea of thousands of cosplayers. It might be 10 people of color in a sea of cosplayers. Now you go to any kind of con and you can see oceans and oceans of people of color, all races, all different races, all different sizes and everything else. So it's a beautiful thing to see that. But it's nice to know I was one of the ones that kind of jet set it, that whole thing get started. During that time also, it's opened a lot of doors for me. Becoming a pro wrestler, because of my at that time how I looked a lot like The Rock. That opened doors for me. My character is based like the people thought I was the cousin of The Rock and all. That's how I got the name.
That's
and that opened a lot of doors for me. When I say our mannerisms and everything else, and I'm like, if you smell, people were going nuts.
Yo,
The Jenny Jones show for Hot Celebrity Lookalikes. It was the #1 highest rated episode because they had us on there. And I ended up coming back on that show. It opened more doors for me. And from that point on, I ended up getting offered to do some independent movies. I was appearing in movies and everything else, independent movies. And it just kind of just branched out. I end up linking up with New Jack from ECW, who I ended up becoming friends with and all. He helped partly train me here in Philly. From that point on, it opened more doors for me. He gave me a major push for an ECW reunion show. And I ended up becoming the commissioner for Dangerous Women in Wrestling, formerly known as Glow. We had a TV series here in Philadelphia, which was basically in competition with Monday Night Raw during the and it was like on syndication. So people were like, it got to a point where, because it was the only show that it was like the equivalence of ECW, but it was women on the show. This is before the divas and everything else. Here I'm the only guy, one of the few guys, not only that, but one of the few guys, but I was the only guy of color on that show. They had a female bodyguard who was a woman of color. Mm-hmm. And it kind of just opened a lot more doors for us. People took notice. And it just, like I said, it just was one thing after the other after the other. So when I stopped wrestling, I started devoting more into acting, more into cosplay. Because of my cosplay and how much I cosplayed and everything that I did behind that, I was hosting a lot of events. I was on tour with Comic-Cons like Wizard World, and I was touring with them. I was doing events here in Philadelphia, the privacy of my house, help other cosplayers out with my photographer. We were doing this well over 10 years. People fondly call it SmokeCon, where basically a lot of cosplayers, especially cosplayers of color, that never got a chance to get out there, or cosplayers in general that never got a chance to get out there, we basically would help them. My photographer, we did the stuff for free. They would do it out of my house. They would get in costume. We would give their own pictures for free. So this way they can showcase their stuff. So when they were ready, they can go to Comic-Cons and all. And I've hung up with some of that, people started off before they started blowing up and everything else. Mm-hmm. We were doing a lot. And during that time, it opened a lot of doors for me. I ended up appearing in DC Comics as Freight Train, Dan DiDidio, because he loved my work as a cosplayer, especially for DC Comics. I was doing a lot of DC comic book characters. He officially gave, as a gift, he made me an official DC comic character, Freight Train from Batman and the Outsiders. Matter of fact, my Freight Train character, they did a gender swap and had him or had her appear on Black Lightning. And if you look it up, you can look it up. It's Google search it. You can see all the information on that. And her name and my name, same name. Eric. The only difference is a swap on my name from Eric to Erica, who happens to be also, as I mentioned to the guys, my twin sister's name is Erica, who happens to be one of the first women of color that worked for Marvel Comics in the 90s and all. She was on the cover of comic books. Basically, it's like in the pop culture realm, I've made a lot of history in the pop culture realm and everything else. And now I'm just only scratching the surface. From doing fan films, hosting to a lot of celebrity events at Comic-Cons, on tour, and everything else. And it just, like I said, I've just been doing it, doing a lot of background work for different TV shows. Like there was this TV show here in Philadelphia called Heavy Sedation. It was the Black Twilight Zone, and we were on PBS. I was one of the main cast members on that show. Shannon Newby was the person that created the show. Really did good here. And it just kind of opened the doors. I ended up doing shows for AMC, Dispatches from Elsewhere. I recently did some background work for Dope Thief on Apple TV. The other show I did was one of my favorite shows, Abbott Elementary. Did some background work for that. And like I said, again, I just been just doing it up, just keeping busy. I'm doing other appearances and stuff like that. So I just been generally blessed, coming up with new ideas for new cosplays and all. I recently debuted Absolute Batman, which was received very well and stuff like that. And so I'm always coming up with new ideas. People always hit me up. What are you going to cosplay next, man? What you got? All these characters you see in the back, The artwork was done by Phil Cho. These are basically characters I've cosplayed as. So again, Freight Train and Fact is the one on the right here and all. But like I said, and these are only just scratching the surface. I've cosplayed well over we're close to maybe 5,000 cosplays. So we're talking about from small to the big, from mecha suits to everything that covers from horror to sci-fi, cyberpunk, video games. I've done it. And like I said, I'm only scratching the surface. I'm one of the, also, we talked about Power Rangers. I'm also one of the founding members of the original Philadelphia Power Rangers here in Philadelphia. So again, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm just having the time of my life, man. My life.
Yes, sir.
Boy.
Beautiful. Wow.
Absolutely, man.
Well, that's a rundown.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm only scratching the surface a little bit.
Before we even get to the hot topics, because we might as well do that at the end. I guess my first question is, because as they know, I'm a fanatic when it comes to wrestling. That's like my go-to for what, like, I guess the nerdest thing I do is wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a long question, so bear with me.
Go for it.
Like I said, wrestling has always been my thing since I was, before I even knew what it was. Like, I remember my mom telling me I was, wrestling teddy bears and stuff at 2 years old. She was scared I was gonna break my neck. But I can remember when I was like 3 or 4 years old thinking I was Shawn Michaels. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a part of my life forever. So I'm assuming the same is for you, just, the era that you come from. I
grew up in the era during the Hulk Hogan era. So Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, Tony Atlas. To be able to work with some of these, like Bob Backlund, I got a chance to work with on the show. Tony Atlas, I got an opportunity. He was like one of the first black wrestlers I saw as a kid, and he was like Mr. Atlas. So I got a chance to wrestle against them. That was a dream come true for me. I never would have thought in a million years. Some of the people that I came up on, I never thought I would end up either on a show with, wrestling with, or wrestling against with. I will say this, one of the people that I grew up on watching WrestleMania, like we're talking about in the early days, Hulk Hogan and all, before we found out what the deal with Hulk Hogan, Mr. T. I recently met Mr. T for the first time. And that was a surreal moment because I'm like, Mr. T, this is like the makeup, when he was with, Hulk Hogan and all. So for me, yeah, growing up for me during that era was the, and I mean, this is the early days when Shawn Michaels was just coming out. This is when he was doing his little go-go dance. He had little Sherry with him and all. He wasn't doing Shawn Michaels yet.
Right.
He was just doing, he was a sexy boy, Shawn Michaels.
And that's my favorite wrestler too.
so I guess that's my question, like, because I watched it, but I never once was like, I want to do this as a profession. So what gave you the nerve to say I actually want to go through that and become a professional wrestler?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. Like, as a kid growing up, we all as kids had emulated wrestlers. We all emulated, like, I'm gonna, I had 2 older brothers. So my other brother, he was the kind of cat that would beat me up and toughen me up and all. So he was always hitting me with chairs and stuff. And so
you can curse. You can curse.
Well, I try to keep it bare minimum, but he would hit me with chairs and stuff, and we were roughhousing the house, and my parents would be like, okay, yeah. But in a million years, I never thought I would become a wrestler. I was wrestling for the Marine Corps wrestling team for a brief moment. After that quick, short stint, because I was wrestling a little bit in high school, I played sports and all, but I never thought, and I kind of just walked into the whole wrestling thing because that, and again, that goes when I met New Jack. I was bodyguarding. I was working security for a lot of clubs. Mind you, I came out in the Marine Corps, so I was working security for a lot of clubs. When I met New Jack, it was on. We were doing a music video. There was a music video for "Let Me Clear My Throat," and I was working security. I was one. As a matter of fact, I'm in the video, and and so New Jack happened to be at the club, and I remember seeing him at the ECW show. Me and my co-workers, we would go to see ECW show in Philly because, you know, South Philly, that was the place to be when you went to see ECW show live.
Yes,
And
sir.
so New Jack was like, you know, this brother was an outspoken brother. We were like, yo, we never saw a cat like this before in wrestling. You know, we gotta go see this cat. So I'm like, yo, this brother's real.
Yeah.
And you know, he was just a real cool cat. When the first time I met him, you know, I was just like, yo, man, I love your work and all. The second time when I bumped into Jack was when we were doing the music video. And we were just having to hang out, man. And, you know, he was out of town. And at the time, I was like, yo, man, you need a place to crash. You know, crash at my spot. And before you know it, he was hanging out. We were hanging out a lot to a point where I just, you know, he was one of my boys. So I didn't look at it like, yo, man, I got New Jack. This, mind you, we didn't have internet at that time.
Yeah.
You know, the little flip phones and all. So, you know, it was a thing where everything was low key. And my job was right around the corner at the time. So everything was low key. But New Jack was staying a lot at my house during the time when he would be in the city. And my ex at the time, my ex-girlfriend and I, she was a bodybuilder. I was lifting weights and all. So we would escort him to ECW show, and we were in black fatigues and all this stuff. We would come out and we would just escort him, you know, not to the ring, but just like escort him to the show in case anybody was giving him any rip. And people got accustomed to that. It was until someone said to me, yo, man, you look like Rocky Maivia. I was like, who? And they were like, you look like Rocky Maivia. Until I saw who Rocky Maivia, I was like, oh, snap. That's my evil twin. And when that happened, I end up, my ex and I end up going when they had a Raw's War episode here in Philly, Monday Night Raw. So me and my ex at the time, we went down to the convention center, or not the convention center, the Spectrum at the time, and they had a WrestleMania, they had a Raw's War show going on. So this was like in the early afternoon. So they were still working on the ring and all. So I went down there directly because I wanted to talk to Dwayne. And mind you, I was already breaking out. I was already in training as a wrestler, and also at that time I was doing this Marine Corps gimmick. It was like a drill instructor gimmick, but I wanted to change my name, and you know, I had this P on my shirt and all, and so I wanted to like have this cool identity. But because I look so much like him, I was like, hey, you know, they called me, you know, so what happened was I went down there and I just remember I said, hey, I want to speak to Dwayne Johnson. So people are looking and they're like, hey, Dwayne, your cousin, your brother, someone, man, I swear to God, my ex was right there. People are looking like this and all this stuff. So he comes out, Dwayne comes out. We start talking. I was telling him, and his whole thing was, hey, as long as you're not telling people we're related, he said, you know, I respect what you know, hey, you know, as long as you're not telling people we're related. I was like, nah, you know, it's all good. So, but you know, he appreciated that. Yeah. So fast forward, okay, they were calling me the Prophet. I was known as the Prophet.
Oh,
so,
that's dope. That's dope.
So what happened was, I end up hooking up. One of my buddies had a comic book store in New Jersey. I basically put him down with New Jack. New Jack was signing autographs, but opened the door for other wrestlers to come to my boy's comic book store. So at this point, this is when Dwayne was with the Nation of Domination.
Oh,
and so I swear to God, so this happened. So he's with the Nation. Mind you, I'm known as Sergeant Prophet. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing security for my boy's store for wrestlers that come through. So this time they had the Nation come through. It was Dwayne, Mark Henry, D'Lo Brown, and Godfather. Godfather, I think, couldn't make it. I just remember coming up to the room because I had to escort Dwayne downstairs. I remember coming to the room and I just heard D'Lo say, yo, isn't that the cat that looks? And they're like, shh, shh. And this guy, like, I had my shades on, so I just acted like I didn't know what they were saying. But I started smirking like, so I'm escorting Dwayne downstairs.
Yeah,
and they're introducing him. Mind you, he and I are walking side by side. We're wearing similar shirts like this.
Yeah,
both had our shades on. We both had sideburns on. Our hair, dog. We were walking and people are like this, and I'm escorting them in. So the whole time he's signing, I'm sitting there, I'm standing while he's like signing, and people are like, "That's your cousin, isn't it?" I'm like, "No, that's not my cousin." "Yes, it is. Yes, it is." So I'm sliding my little autograph pictures of my wrestling stuff, signing and all this stuff, and people didn't believe it. So there's a picture. If you go online, there's a picture of me and The Rock together, like one of the very first ones, and my ex in the middle, and we're like standing there, like we're sitting at the table. I'm doing my eyebrow like this. He's sitting there all serious and all this stuff. It's like you can tell it's an old picture, but it's us. So it was so funny because from that point on, that really kind of like really opened the door. So mind you, so now it was a year or two later, Dwayne was doing his first movie. One of the first movies he did was The Rundown.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay, so when he did The Rundown, he was doing interviews, and he was doing an interview on WWF. And by this time, The Rock was getting the popularity. People were, so he turns around and he says in an interview, swear to God, he said, "Yeah, there's this cat that looks like The Rock, talks like The Rock, and he looks at the camera and does like this, but he doesn't get the $1 million deals like The Rock." I was like, "Oh no!" I took a straight. I was like, "All right, no problem, no problem."
Man, I would put in a title match right then and there.
But you know what? I was cool with that.
Yeah.
So in fact,
I remember that clip.
because of my resemblance to him, I won't say the person's name in the industry, but there was a very famous wrestler in WCW that I met, and they were like, "Yo," and this is when they were having NWO. They were like, "Yo, you need to come down." They called it down south. "You need to come down south because they would love to. They would love to have someone like you in that squad." Like I was kind of like offered, and I was just like, because I was still green in the business, I didn't feel I was ready, so I was like, "No, I'm gonna stay humble about it." But during that time, it opened more doors for me. I learned a lot. So when I got my really first big amazing push, I was escorting Jack to one of his shows, hanging out with him. And the one thing I learned, like, now mind you, this is the course of me wrestling, getting gigs, and all this stuff. By this time, I was building my reputation. I was doing a show, and this is when I started working for Dangerous Women in Wrestling, Glow. That's when they changed my name. Changed my name to The Smoke. They said, when they introduced me to the crowd for the first time, they were like, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're introducing to you the WWF's Intercontinental Champions cousin, The Smoke." And you smell what The Rock is cooking. I come out, and people are like, "Holy!" And I'm wearing the $300 shirt, all this stuff.
Yeah,
People lost their shit. And then when I got the mic, I was like, "Finally, The Smoke has come back to Philadelphia." People lost their shit. And from that point on, that really kind of sealed the deal for me. That kind of just like cemented me as far as like, okay, we're gonna have him. We're gonna have him as commissioner. Okay. So where New Jack was concerned, I was hanging out like and I was always paying homage to New Jack. When I was on Jenny Jones, so people remember me for Jenny Jones and all. And Jack always stayed. I always gave my props to New Jack. When I got interviewed on her show, I said, "Yo, Jack was the one who gave me my first push." And Jack was like, "No, man, you did that yourself." He said, "I appreciate the love, but you did that yourself." So it was an ECW reunion show. Mind you, some of the biggest names, ECW, WCW, WWE, all there under one roof. ECW reunion show.
Everybody.
Okay, so, for Scorpio, you had Buff Bagwell, you had people just floating around, Sandman, you had everybody floating around. So Jack comes over to me. He was like, "You brought your gear?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You want to open the show? You want to open the show with me?" Fuck yes, I want to open the show. It's the video's out there online. Basically, he basically wanted me to come out, beat the shit out of him for like maybe a minute or two. Then he would knock me out with the guitar. It's all on there. It's all seriously, man. And we gave the biggest pop to start up the show. Yeah. And it was one of the most riveting moments for me in wrestling. Yeah. Fast forward, we were able to have, and then like later down the road, we would end up having a match. We had a match later into my career, like a 45-minute match that was on TV that aired twice on TV in syndication, 45-minute match, weapons match.
Oh.
And one thing that people, I tell people all the time, you know, they had this stigma about New Jack, and they were like, "Oh, you know, when you saw the dark side in the ring," and they talked about him. And all I can tell you from my perspective is, if you were cool with Jack, you were cool with him.
Right.
If you pissed him off, or you disrespected him, you would feel his wrath. He would let you know.
Yeah.
The thing was that, you know, you had to. The major thing a lot of these people don't realize, even with the whole mass transit thing, you know, I tell people, you went in there not showing respect to the people in the ring, the veterans. You got to show respect in the ring, in the locker room. You have to show respect in the locker room. For me, as a veteran, not as a veteran, as a greenhorn wrestler, when I started off in this business, I always respected the locker room. The last company I worked for was NWA Shockwave. So I got a chance to work a lot of the guys from TNA, from CM Punk, basically all the big names that you see now currently. I worked with guys in the company and all that stuff. Like before really everyone really started taking off. Abyss, all those cats. I got stories to tell you for miles and miles. But the thing was that when I go into a locker room, I always show courtesy and respect. When I got my first major push, my title belt, when I became an Intercontinental Champion,
Hey.
they did this thing where it's like a baptism in the ring, and basically I was in a battle royal, right? And they were giving me a major push. Now, mind you, I was new to the scene. I'd been in the business maybe a year and a half in the business. So here I am. I'm coming in. You had all these cats. You had like 20 cats. I'm doing my thing, doing the, thing. So they got me in the corner. They wrapped me in the corner. Each cat came up to me, chopped me in the. So I had like 20 different wrestlers chop me on my chest, right?
Yeah.
Never once bitched about it. Took it like a man. They put me over, right? I ended up becoming the champion.
Hey.
Bob Backlund was working in the locker room. He was one of the main cards, one of the main cards for that show. Mm-hmm. Bob Backlund comes over to me and shakes my hand, and he was like, that's how you do it. That's how you come in. He told me, he said, this is how you handle yourself. And from what I was told that he normally doesn't, Bob Backlund normally doesn't come over to anybody like that and gives them compliments. So that to me spoke in volumes. And it taught me just to stay humble when I go to a locker room. It doesn't matter how much I know, how much I don't know, to stay humble, try to work with everyone. One of the people I loved working with, one of the people I got a chance to team up with a lot was Jazz and Rodney Mack. We were known as Black Rain. We were like going to be we were going to be the answer to Nation of Domination, because we were all, my ex was going to be a part of that too, but we were all like black discouraged wrestlers in the business that were coming back and getting the white guys back in business. So we were originally going to get D-Lo. We were going to have man, I did some over the top stuff beating this other wrestler because he had this white girl, and I had the Kentucky Fried Chicken thing, freaking fat and they were like, oh my God. And I mean, I was doing some over the top stuff. Again, we just had a lot of fun. It was, like I said, a lot of memorable moments.
Yes,
a lot of people left a lot of really positive, impact on me. I just, again, I was in it. And then when it was my time to get out the business, when I thought my time was like, okay, working with Dangerous Women in wrestling, I had a lot of fun because I was one of the few only guys in that squad, and got the chance to wrestle women. And I always tell people, I'm like, look, I'm an equal opportunity ass kicker. Everyone, I don't discriminate on anyone in the ring. Handicapped people, little kids, women, men, I don't discriminate in the ring.
Everybody. Yes.
So look, I put a disabled person through a table and all that. Like, I didn't discriminate, So but during that time, like, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, you can't do
that now.
Can't do that.
No. This is dude. I swear to God. So we were not live. We were on this. We were on the syndication, right? Channel 48. I will never forget this. So I'm beating the hell. Like, it was a commercial before we went to commercial break. I was a part of a group called the Hoe Haters. We were known as the Hoe Haters. Me and this other guy named Steve the Sound Guy. Okay, we were known as the Hoe Haters. So we had women in our group and all that stuff, right? Of course, my ex, she was the female version. She was not female. She was a smaller version of China, but she was like always going. But she was smaller. But she was my bodyguard, right? We were going up against Alexis Lurie. At that time, that was what's her name from WWE before she went to WWE? Not Alexis Lurie. Oh, I forgot her. What does she call herself now in WWE? She was WWE female champion. God, man, I gotta remember her name. I gotta look it up. But trust me, if I said her name, you'd be like, oh snap. Well, anyway, we're beating the hell out of these women and all this stuff. The Whole Haters beating the. So we go to commercial break. Swear to God, why did this commercial come up? And this little kid says, "Mom, how can I respect women more?" It was some kind of Christian commercial. I kid you not. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like they aired it right after
they planned it.
Look,
they did y'all dirty.
They planned it.
Man. And then it was one time we had an episode where normally when we air the show, we normally do commentary on the show. You know, we had the green screen, we commentary on the show. So we're watching the match. We're doing commentary on it, right? And so we can cuss and everything. And what happens is normally we have a guy that goes in and censor it.
Yeah.
Then we submit the tape. So don't ask. This particular episode, we were going off. We were like, motherfucker, da.
Oh, yeah.
They submitted the tape. Okay, we did our part. They submitted the tape. They never censored the tape. So,
shit.
So people were calling up the station like, "Oh my God!" You know,
Yeah, the explicit version.
oh my God, man!
You said hit back for 3 times.
It was all types of FUs and Bs and A-holes. Oh my God. I'm telling you, but we had a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun from beating up midgets to handicapped people to, I'm telling you, man, we had the time of our lives on that show.
That is one reason why I love the old wrestling more, though, because they just did more stuff like where they did not care.
You know what? They took a chance. It was more of a chance. This is during the what do you call it? The Jerry Springer era.
Yeah.
So, they were doing a lot more stuff where now people are too sensitive and shit, and
yeah, you gotta be extra careful.
And that's fine. I'm glad I came up then because I was able to do what I was able to do. But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Just think of y'all got me. This is so many funny moments, man.
Reminiscing.
Yeah, but getting back to sorry. Getting back to working with a lot of the people that we came up on or I came up on in that era, it was surreal. It was surreal. Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. We had a South Philly street fight.
Oh, wow.
South Philly street fight match against them. The Hoe Haters versus Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. Man, and again, it was crazy. It was crazy. The audience was hating us because here we are, these two big guys beating on these old women, these seniors, and they came back on us and they got us back. But oh my God, man!
Did y'all put it through a table?
Of course, we put them through some shit. They were like, "Oh no!" We slamming them. And, oh my God! There's a picture of me where you have Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah sign autographs. I'm behind him. I'm doing this, and I'm about to hit him with a chair. So
yeah, I'm looking up some of this stuff.
Right? I want some of these pictures to be shown. So we're gonna go on Google and show some of these pictures because
I gotta find some of these pictures for y'all because
I gotta see.
Swear to God, you can't make this up. You go on YouTube and you type in "dangerous women in wrestling." I guarantee you'll find some stuff on there.
I can't wait.
Oh my God, it's still again it was all like I said, it's sports entertainment. You know, we had a lot of fun, man. But you know, we had what I'm going to do for y'all. I tell you what I will do for y'all after the show. Y'all send me your addresses. I will send you the DVD of from Dangerous Women in Wrestling. I will send you all DVD copies. Each one. Okay. Yeah. So I got. Yeah.
Can you sign it?
Oh yeah, I'll sign it for y'all. I'll sign it for y'all. Yeah, I definitely sign it for y'all. Yes, yeah, I forgot. I was like, I forgot I got it.
Just to give you a break, because you've been going ham.
Yeah.
I want you to catch yourself. Let's go ahead and move to these hot topics.
Oh wait, we gotta do the word.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the word, Blerd?
Oh, I forgot the word. Hold on. I was so lost in the story.
Hey, he's a great storyteller.
The word of the day is affable. It's an adjective. It means pleasant, easily to approach and to talk to. You know, like Smoker. Like he pleasant to talk to, easy to converse with. You know,
Sony is not applicable for taking care of this stuff with these games, man. They're not applicable when it comes to taking care of the people that have been loyal to them.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right.
That's namely us.
Yeah.
Y'all
how were you gonna just change it? Like take away physical and just change it digital only? Like, huh?
Yeah. I will say this. I tell people all the time, the people that want to support disc, and I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is when if you're down for giving away free money to a company that will basically, once you give that free money away to them, they own you. They basically saying, well, we can do whatever we want. We got your money now. We don't have to give you the game. We can let you have the game for a year and take it away.
Yep.
If that's your flow, hey, God bless you. Me, I believe in physical ownership. I've always have, always will. But I'm also going to say, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I do like riding the high seas when I need to ride the high seas. Arg. That's all I'm going to say on that. But, I feel bad for the devs because it's not the devs' fault. People that are trying to shit on Wolverine game, I think that's kind of messed up because it's not their fault. In fact, Insomniac is one of the reasons why I'm using PlayStation a lot because Spider-Man, they put out some really good games. Rockstar, however, while they put out some really good quality games, they got greedy to a point they're just trying to throw anything against the wall to exploit us as customers.
Yeah,
you're gonna not only you're gonna charge $100 on a paywall game, you're paywalling a trailer for Netflix. You're not only going to paywall, you pre-own the game. I mean, you could do a pre-order, but get this, you don't get any kind of access or anything. No, you just pre-order it. The physical copy is just a box with a little code in there. Okay,
yeah.
That help me make sense of this. Okay, but yet you don't get you don't get a disc. Right. But they expect you to say, you're going to take this and you're going to love it. We're giving you some shit to eat and you're going to love this shit. You're going to eat it and you're going to love it.
And it's sad because people going to buy it. They going to buy it. I know they are.
But here's the thing. What I find funny now, some people will buy it. But now, like, it's being leaked. Like you see now, they
yeah. I talked to my friend about it at work.
Leaks out all day. And I saw some of the leaks. Okay. Yeah. And while it's good, it looks good. it's just like any other game. To me, it's one of those kind of games that, wow, bells and whistles, it looks good, but that only going to last for so long, you know. But you put up a paywall, so basically, they're putting up a paywall to say, okay, you could do this much in the game, but you got to pay another $30 or $40 to get access to all this stuff.
Outrageous.
Mind you, you're paying, so basically, you're paying $140 for something you don't own, but you can play. Well, mind you, you don't own it.
Yeah.
Okay? So for the mild non-gamer who just wants the experience, if you got that money to burn, God bless you. Gamers like us, we're gamers.
Yeah.
I can tell. We're all gamers in here. And good. Most of our generation, from my generation to all y'all's generation, I can't speak for the newer generation, but for our generation, we grew up on the idea of owning video games. We owned discs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cartridges, disc.
Before DLCs and all that, like pay loot boxes and stuff like that.
Exactly. So the newer generation, they're like, hey, you know, I don't mind digital, but again, if you don't mind burning $100 for a game that you're never going to own, and you don't have any kind of, hey man, knock yourself out. I just don't believe in giving somebody free money, not my money.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I love emulators. I'd rather go through Steam and PC. Like, dude, I swear to God, we talked about this on our show, on our podcast. I've never been, I have my PCs, but I've never been a big supporter of playing PC games. I never have, right?
Yeah.
Up until the last 6 months, whenever this whole ordeal started, I dibble-dabbled in Steam. Dibble-dabbled. But ever since this whole thing with PlayStation, I'm like, end up buying a $2,000 PC solely devoted to gaming, 2 terabyte drive.
Yeah.
End up didn't get the Steam because what was the point of getting the Steam machine? You already got the OS hooked in for your, you know, got Steam, got my emulators, 14 terabyte, all old school games and all. I got my physical games, backlog of physical games. I'm good.
Yeah, Steam.
The only downside, well, you see, the only downside about it is you got games like Alien Elite Fireteam 2 that's coming out, right? For example, I'm a big Alien fan. I have the first one. I have the physical one. But it's right now only on digital. Phantom Blade Zero, they've been talking about it. But there's no physical for it, right? Spider-Man, if Spider-Man comes out, Spider-Man 3, and they don't have, if they decide to push it for next year, but there's no physical for it, and we've had both copies, and again, man, they're Star Wars, the same with the Star Wars, Fallen Jedi. Again, now if it comes on PC, okay, because I know I can own it, and I know that PlayStation won't have that shadow over us.
Yeah, because there have been times where, there was a game called J-Star. It was like this anime game called J-Star. Of course, like it was fun. I loved it, but they took it off the PlayStation Store because licensing issues. So you cannot get it nowhere unless you get it physical. So I bought it physically, though. I got it physically, but if I couldn't have, they had that option, you wouldn't be able to play it at all. Like it would just be a memory. So. Oh, you muted.
You muted yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There you go.
So there's a game that I bought years ago on It was for Xbox and PlayStation 2. Def Jam Battle for New York. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You can't find the game is like dude. The game is like up there in price. The reason why I wanted to own it because it has all the original music. You can't get it online. You can't get it on the system because of licensing,
right?
Because of the music and all. I tell anyone, if it's a game that you like, you can get your hands on it. Thank God for limited edition and all. But if you get your hands on it, get it. Yeah. Get that game. or get whatever game you can get your hands on, because once the physical is gone. Now, they have been talking about an emulator that they're working on. They've been working on for the last year, and it's moving along kind of fast. Where this thing can basically emulate the whole catalog of PlayStation 5.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the thing is that it's still in the works, but basically it will cover all the PlayStation 5 games.
Dang.
So yeah. So like I have the one emulator that has 100,000 games, or 100,000 games. So it covers like PlayStation 2, 3, 4, 5, the Wii, even some of the modded games, Mugen and stuff like that. Like I love Mugen. Like
I do too. I had a couple.
So you understand. So the thing is that the technology is there for us but like I said again, man, I was a devoted Sony fan and Xbox. Like I was an Xbox fan and a Sony fan.
Yeah.
Dude, when they had Gears of War, I was there for the Gears of War. I was part of the Gears of War 3 event. I'm wearing my Gears of War armor and all. They had me a part of the thing with Cliffy B and all. I'm like, dude, they had me on G3 because I was doing all this stuff for G3 back in the day for G4 channel. Like again, it's just the fact that I'm seeing this industry being pimping us as the gamers. It really leaves a bad taste in my mouth, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to be cool about it because I'm like, well, hey, do I feel bad for the devs? Kind of, but I feel like Sony's getting what they deserve. I ain't ashamed to say it. Like they're getting everything because they got greedy. Got greedy, and they just thought that now there's a rumor that PlayStation 6 might not come out until 2030 now.
Damn.
Because there's no more RAM. There's no more RAM left. They ran out of RAM for 2027.
Put AI in it too. Shoot.
And that's what I'm like, hey man, this is what happens when you get greedy. And powers that be, they just think they can do whatever they want now. And I'm like, okay, you're about to get that ass spanked. That's all right. Get that ass spanked. They're like, woo, I never got a weenie put. Woo, where's this? Oh, it's a weenie.
Yeah.
Big green weenie's coming. All right, I'm gonna let y'all talk because I've been dominating the conversation. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's fine.
We appreciate it. You're so Prince, go ahead and hit him with them hot topics.
Let me pull my phone up. Hold up. Well, no, the Lanterns dropped. A lot of people are pissed. If you haven't, have y'all seen it?
What?
No, I don't really like Green Lantern like it.
Oh, Green Lantern?
Oh, it's out?
Yeah, are you planning to watch it?
Yeah, wait. Did you just say Green Lantern?
The Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Woo! Love that show. Woo!
I ain't gonna say no spoilers, but a lot of people are pissed about it and stuff, and they trying to blame James Gunn and all that mess.
First off, I tell them drink some Similac, shut the hell up, sit down, and let the season play.
Yeah, I think it's it's written well. I feel like it's written really well. I guess I can call myself a writer now. And I was watching, I was like, this is written well. Like this is like it is. And see, I mean, I've talked to some other people, they're like, yeah, I feel like it is too. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not tripping. So I guess that's my little writer insider with that.
You're not tripping at all. The problem is some people are just grifting the grift. They just want to hate this to hate. Others that understand, like, hey, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. You got to remember that this is the writer who wrote for Watchmen, the Watchmen TV show.
Mm-hmm.
They were, also the people behind True Detective, Fargo. So they know what they're doing.
Makes sense.
People have these expectations especially when you're dealing with comic book movies or comic books, they expect everything to be precise, exactly like the comic book.
Yeah.
And it's not the case. You have to give some grace and allow the writers to write out the show that they need to write. Now, I'm not saying every writer has the vision of, because some of these writers, they do get a little extravagant. I need to show in my vision of what I think. And I kind of like, okay, you know
That's
what?
how the I was,
man. But when you got people that respect the material, like I'll use Zack Snyder.
Right.
When he did Watchmen, when he did the movie, he took literally page by page from the comic book, put it to the screen. The only thing he changed was the ending because he knew that people would have a hard time accepting the ending. If you read the book ended with this big squid. If you showed that in the movie, it would make no sense to the audience. And you would give the audience, they would be bitching and complaining, oh, well, it's a giant squid and all this stuff. The way they wrote it, David Hayter, who was part of Metal Gear Solid, who's the voice of Solid Snake, helped write Watchmen.
Oh, for real?
He was one of the writers. I interviewed him. He was one of the writers for Watchmen. The way they wrote it, it made more sense with Dr. Manhattan blowing up, and the reason behind it with Ozymandias. So it made more sense. Now, the TV show, they did show the squid and everything else, and they gave you a reason behind it, but it was longer. They had time to flesh it out and explain it.
Yeah.
So with the Lantern show, people have to go into the idea of, okay, this is not the John Stewart that you know from the TV show, from the Justice League animated show.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he looks like him, he has certain characteristics. He has certain embodiments of John Stewart that we all have known and appreciated.
Right.
But this is not the same John Stewart.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not the same Hal Jordan. It's going to be the Hal Jordan that you would come to expect, but it's going to be their interpretation of Hal Jordan, just like they did with the Batman. Remember when the Batman came out and everyone was bitching and complaining about Mr. Sparkly playing as the Batman, and then everyone ended up saying, "Oh man, Batman was it was the John and all this shit."
Yeah.
Okay, but I remember before they came out, they were like, "Oh, how dare they make?" And it ended up being dope as hell. It was a dope ass movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready for part 2.
Exactly. Hell, let's go back. Let's even take it back further. When you had Henry Cavill playing as Superman, when they had put out Man of Steel, okay, and Ben Affleck playing Batman, people put out death threats. Oh, Batman, Ben Affleck playing Batman. Oh, Henry Cavill, he blew up buildings. How is that possible? Oh, how is that possible? But now, oh, Henry Cavill's the OG. Yeah. Bring him back. And I'm saying to myself, well, y'all shut the fuck up and let this man.
I don't know what.
So
that's it.
Because here's the problem. The problem is, you guys are mature enough to be able to tell the difference. Okay, I'm willing to keep an open mind. Let's see what happens. Now, you watch the series from beginning to end. And then you say, okay, I didn't like it for this reason, or this is some things I liked about it, there's some things I didn't like about it. But you gave it a chance. You're not going to shit on it as soon as it comes out, the first episode, first 15 minutes. Oh, it was shit. Because you give it a chance to breathe, right?
Yeah.
You have your theories and you have a discussion, but you have your theories, but you didn't make up your mind after the first episode. It's boring. It's this. I'm like, you didn't give it a chance to breathe.
Let it build.
And this is the problem with most movies that are based around comic books. If it's not in your face, like Spider-Man Brand New Day, freaking love that movie.
Yes.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But you notice everyone loved it. Everyone, for I say 95% was unanimous. Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Okay? I didn't hear really anyone bitching or complain about it, right?
Yeah.
Little portions here with Jean Grey and all that stuff. Spoilers, blah, blah, blah. But for all intents and purposes, everyone loved it, okay? But because it wasn't slow pace, it wasn't a build-up, that's why. If it was in your face, like if Hal Jordan was already fighting oh man, it's prestige. People are not patient. People want everything right then on the spot. They want fast.
I think it's attention spans now, man, to where it's like that's how it is with anime too. It's like they gotta at first 2-3 episodes, they gotta have fight scenes and everything. Like they're not slow paced like back then. So it's just like it's a different
if you look at shows like Cowboy Bebop and you show this newer generation Cowboy Bebop, like Cowboy Bebop is my shit. I fucking Cowboy Bebop is like top tier. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, dude, I cosplay as Jet Black. Like my dog is named after. I have a Welsh Corgi based off of Cowboy Bebop, and my first Corgi was named I. My second Corgi is named Faye.
Hey.
Okay, that's how much I love Cowboy Bebop. Okay, I'm friends with Bo Billingsley, who's the voice of Jet Black. Like me and him are cool shit. Like again, you can't tell me nothing. But if you were to show this to a modern audience right now, oh man, this shit is boring.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
Exactly how they be.
You know, now I'll give an example. Like we all loved Afro Samurai, right? Y'all saw Afro Samurai, right?
Yeah.
So Afro Samurai is fast paced. Of course, if you show that now to an audience, modern audience now, they would love it. Oh, that was the shit. Yeah, Afro Samurai. But like you said, Afu, it's like their attention span. If they don't have it right then and there, it's not fast enough. It's like squirrel. Squirrel, you know, I'm serious. And so, and that's the problem, you know, it's until they get old enough or mature enough to say, okay, like you guys are mature enough to say, okay, but see, again, you guys came up in the era of Dragon Con, of Dragon Ball, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Samurai Champloo. I'm just using these as an example. So y'all have learned to appreciate patience when it comes to a show or a film or a TV series. A lot of these newer generation, and because you have the internet, y'all didn't have the internet then, but you have the internet now, so that doubles up the problem because everyone wants to have an opinion. Yes. But a lot of these cats don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I'm just saying, I'm calling it a spade to spade. It's like they it's like, man, you know, the one thing I don't do, I don't dismiss anyone's viewpoint as long as you make sense. Right. When you don't make sense and you're coming at your ass and you don't know your comic book history, your anime history, I'm gonna look at you like you're a 2-year-old, and I'm like, sit the fuck down and drink some Similac and let the grown folks talk. like if you don't shut the hell up, you know, because I just sit there like, really? Like you're talking at your ass. You sound asinine. You know,
and it's worse when they double down, bro. Like just just chill, just sit back.
Like learn something. Like learn, because again, man, I'm like, it's again because this is why, like you know, I look at shows like y'all remember Young Justice, right?
Yeah,
Young Justice was fucking peak, man. And like Static Shock, like again. We were eating good back then. Like when it came to animated shows, like we were eating good. When we were coming, like in my generation, when we were coming up, man, we got scraps. The fact that we had I got interviewed when Blade 2 came out, and the Philadelphia Inquirer interviewed me, and I was like, Marvel needs to kiss Wesley Snipes' ass for putting out Blade, because if it wasn't for Blade, Marvel wouldn't be where they're at right now, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, for someone as a person of color, seeing Blade on the screen, the first one and then the second one, for a person of color, for me at that time in my 20s, I was like, yo, Amon-Ra Pictures understood the assignment. Benicio del Toro understood the assignment. Like del Toro knew. I was like, yo, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden Marvel has a hard time putting out a fucking Blade film.
Like really though. Really.
What the fuck is that about? But then people wonder why Wesley Snipes was the way he was. You know, thank God now Ryan Reynolds got his shortcomings, but I will give him his props. At least he tried to make amends by bringing Wesley Snipes and introducing him to the masses, like, yo, and giving him the lines like, there's always one blade. There's always going to be one. Like, he gave him some dope lines. I was like, all right. But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, like seriously, it's like, you don't, and I try to tell, not you all, but I'm saying, like, people don't understand, like, coming up, like, I had not welfare Spider-Man, but Timo Spider-Man. Like, at that time as a kid, that Spider-Man was everything. The 1977 Spider-Man was everything because it was like, yo, we got Spider-Man. Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, Incredible Hulk. It was like, it wasn't like the it wasn't the Incredible Hulk that we see now.
Right.
Yeah.
I try to tell people this generation's eating at a smorgasbord. We didn't have this.
Right.
So I get mad when these it don't look accurate. No, motherfucker, be glad you got these movies. We didn't have any of this shit.
They spoiled, man. They spoiled.
Oh my god. So fucking spoiled.
Speaking of Watchmen, the showrunner wants to bring in Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Regina King to James Gunn's DCU for Lantern season 2.
Yes.
That'd be amazing.
Now, to what capacity? If they make Yahya the Black Hand, well, right now Yahya, well, yeah, because he now lost it. He's no longer working with Marvel, so give him, let him come back to DC.
Yeah.
If Jason Momoa came back and he did Lobo, and Lobo's going to be in the Superman movie,
yeah.
Hey, you know what? Why not? Yahya would be great if he plays as the Black Hand. If you know your comic book lore, you know who the Black Hand is. In fact, I cosplayed as the Black Hand. Oh man, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Yeah. Or even if you bring him as
Icon,
another well, no, not even Icon. Like we're talking about Green Lantern. So,
okay.
If you bring him in as from the Red Lantern Corps or something like that, that would be dope.
Yeah,
like bring him in as a character that you wouldn't expect him to play.
Yeah.
The same with Regina King.
Yeah.
It was, man, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit.
Let's just hope they get a second season.
So let me ask y'all this: what do y'all think about the casting for Storm?
I love it.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What's that, food?
I don't be knowing too much about casting type stuff. So,
well, no, I mean as far as like who they casted to play Storm for the X-Men.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
You don't know who it is.
Yeah, I don't keep up with that stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was cool with her or my girl from Sinners, either one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, if they got my girl from Sinners, I would have been either one of them. I'm happy with. I was happy with either one.
Yeah.
Because the brother that's going to be playing as T'Challa's son, he's a great actor. He's an amazing actor. Yeah, and I'm like, I can't see why people. And I'm like, well, I understand why my man ain't get it because he's doing the Blood and Bone movie. He's doing that movie, and that's like Wakanda 2.0 movie. And I'm like, all right, well, you got that going on and stuff, man. I'm like, come on, which explains why he was doing that thing with my girl when he was dressed in all black, and everybody was like, oh, he's gonna be the next Black Panther. And everybody assumed because they was doing that thing with Black Panther. And I'm like, nah, he ain't gonna do it. And when they showed him with Black
on the nose.
But I was cool with that.
Yeah.
They caught us off guard a little bit. And I was like, all right, I'm good with that. Okay.
I'm just happy they finally confirmed it because I had doubts. I was like, maybe they're not gonna let Storm be in it at this point. I don't know.
Oh, I was happy. Oh man, I was like, okay. And the sister's gorgeous. She's both of them are gorgeous, but she is gorgeous, man. I was like, okay. And I'm like, enough for nothing. I look, I love Halle Berry. I love the other sister that they had, but I'm glad they got a woman of color that was more in tune to how Storm looks in the books.
Yeah.
Again, black is black to me. Doesn't matter if you're a British actor, English actor, black is black to me, but I'm just glad that they have more of a woman of color, like a woman of, that look more accurate.
And,
Yeah.
and somebody that's
I
not
feel
a
the same way.
well-known name, like she can have her own lane now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just,
Yeah.
oh, it's a big name, so we gotta.
And I was good with the girl that got casted to play Rogue and all, because I remember her from Superman. Lois.
Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
Lana Lang's daughter. Yeah, she was good, and she was good in Obsession. She was crazy as fuck.
That's why I wonder how she gonna play as Rogue, bruh. For real, I'm curious.
Yeah, she's gonna be good. She's gonna be good. Like the casting, I don't have no problem with the casting so far.
Yeah, the casting was great.
Yeah, I want to see who's going. Who else they're casting? They got a few more. They got to cast and stuff.
They need to do Taron Egerton as Wolverine. They just need to do that. That's the main person I can see.
I got a feeling they're gonna do someone like a no-name actor, like someone we have never seen before. I got a feeling they're gonna, so this way they're not gonna be attached to anything.
Yeah, I got you.
I think they're gonna bring in someone like they did with Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman really wasn't.
He was Broadway. Yeah. That's what they were saying about Maya Board. They was like, "Oh, she's Broadway," and then somebody made a post. Well, the last time they made some fuss about somebody being a Broadway Marvel character, and they had Hugh Jackman right beside her. I was like, "Yeah, look
he
at
was
that."
doing that shit for. He's still doing it. So now, did you all get your tickets for Doomsday yet?
Nah, I got to plan it out.
Not yet.
What?
I got plan. They got schedules, man.
Yeah.
Plan the date and then go.
I gotta go when the time is right because
I had to get the tickets for the 17th. I got
Shit.
tickets for the 17th, the 18th, right? And I just got my Dune tickets for Dune 3 yesterday because I'm like, oh man, because they're coming out at the same time. So I'm like, fuck. I'm trying to get those.
I told my mama, I said, that's not a time for the movie. That's time to get your tickets. If you don't need it, the lower it gets, bro.
Yo, I will say this. I was on the Fandango yesterday, man. They had this thing. I had to go to the movie theater directly. They had me on there for an hour. I was like, fuck this. Going right to the movie theater. And they were like, I said, let me get tickets for Dune 3. They were like, when is it coming out? December 17th. Oh, we don't have. Oh, wait. I said, check again. Oh, yeah, check again. They were looking all confused, like, how'd you know? But yeah, man.
You gotta put in a full-time shift.
Shoot, man.
I plan to see it. If I have to take off because it's around the time of my birthday, so I'm gonna get.
Oh, your birthday's in December?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. When's your birthday?
The 21st.
Okay, you and my daughter share the same birthday. All right. So
I knew something was coming. I knew you got somebody got the same birthday.
Yeah. You and my daughter share the same birthday. All right. All right. That okay. Y'all Sagittarius. Y'all Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Y'all cool like that. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
That's what's up.
Oh man. So yeah. But like I said, man, I like I said, I just when it comes to superhero movies and TV shows, man, people have to be a little bit more graceful and start learning how to be patient, stop being as toxic, and just shut the hell up and let people cook. Let people do their thing, So it's just, like I said, man, you'd be surprised the outcome may be,
Yeah, because everybody think they right all the time, to be honest. Everybody think they're right about something. That's what I hate, man. So much.
I know what I'm talking about.
You're wrong. I'm right. I'm going to convince you that I'm right, and you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about.
They're going to turn on the comments so fast.
Put you down at the same time while explaining why they're right. Like, so crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Any more hot topics, Prince?
Nah, that's really. I mean, we got a whole bunch of old ones. You have to scroll down.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Smoke, what kind of politics did you experience during your wrestling tenure, or I guess in the cosplay world? Because you were kind of doing both at the same time. So, what kind of politics did you go through?
As far as like being a person of color.
Person of color, just the industry in general, because I know it can get in those locker rooms.
Well, during that time, like again, I was one of those kind of wrestlers that they just knew not to say certain things around me. Plus, I was a former, with me, being a United States Marine, it was like, yo, it's like, I'll say this much. I never had to worry about someone disrespecting me because they knew where to draw the line. Like, I didn't have to run into that because I would go and do my job. I hung out with certain people and then I would roll. Like, I wasn't going to the bars or clubs. I would do a show, go back to my hotel room. I think it was only one time when I got really jacked up. Like, the only person like I was hanging out with like that was like Jack. And Jack would tell me a lot of stories behind the scenes and all. But me personally experiencing them, like, other than when I went, and this took place in Philly, I had one situation that happened, but this was not when I was. This is when I was wrestling at. I was going to a wrestling school, and it was a part of Philadelphia. It was a section of Philadelphia, and at night we were coming back, and me and a couple of wrestlers and a couple of guys wanted to get a little rowdy because we were going to school in a part of town that was poor PYT, poor white trash area.
Oh, wow.
And so guys thought they could confront us, and we were like, yo, let's go. What's up? What's up? And they kind of like backed off and all because I was like, yo, it's either me or you. I'm gonna fight dirty, so let's go. Let's do this. But like I'd say only one time. Okay, so there was this one time, and I can talk about it now, but like I have issues when when I'm in the ring, I tell people all the time, the Smoke is a character I portray in the ring. The Smoke is, well, I'm the wrestler as the Smoke. The Smoke is a character in the ring. So people are like, oh, you're so nice. You're so nice. But when I'm in the ring, I'm an asshole. All right? I'm an asshole. I don't care if you like me or don't like me in the ring. But understand, it's a work.
Yeah.
So you had this one kid doing security, and he was a little overzealous. And when it was a moment where they say, security, get him out the ring, and I'm talking shit. This kid comes around my neck. He's grabbing my neck. And I'm telling him, like, yo, ease up. I'm telling him, like, yo, man, ease up. What the fuck? Ease up. So he's pulling me in the back.
Yeah.
So when it comes to someone putting their hands on me, I'm particular. Like, I tell people, like, if we're wrestling, that's one thing.
Yeah.
If it's a stranger putting their hands on me and I don't allow it, it kind of sets me in a weird place. So I told the kid, like, yo, I'm telling you right now, watch how you put your hands on me. I tell you to loosen up, loosen the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So we go back out there again. And again, kid wasn't listening. He did it again to me. He made a mistake, grabbed me too hard, and he was grabbing me by my neck. So all I did was see red. And let's say this. When we were doing this show, it was in this hotel banquet hall. There was a kitchen in the back where we changed and all that stuff because it was, the kitchen was down. I just remember when they pulled me in the back, I had to pick this mother effer up by his neck from behind, picked his ass up and threw him on the grill and was ready to fuck his ass up. My female partner at the time, she tried to grab me around my waist, and I didn't realize it was her. I was like, get the F off me. Just flung her to the side because I didn't realize she's big. She's a big chick. She's not like, so it took my promoter to come up to me and look at me dead in my eyes like, yo, Smoke, cool the fuck out.
Yeah.
And it snapped me back. And I was like, what the fuck does that? And it was the state commissioner's godson or something.
Yeah.
And I had to tell him, like, the kid had to apologize to me because I was like, yo, you don't fucking, all you see is fingerprints on the back of his neck. Because but I get angry because I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, the fuck, again, be respectful because I'm always respectful in the locker room. So, but that was the only incident that I really ever ran into because most of the time everybody was respectful.
Yeah.
The women I worked with, I didn't really have any issues. Like, it's a different climate now than it was back then. People had a tougher skin. People weren't oversensitive, and it wasn't like, well, at least the environment I was in, I didn't, I wasn't the kind of person that was like, hey. I was like, yo, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And all that stuff. And, I got along with everyone. For all intents and purposes, if someone had an issue with me, it didn't dawn on me until much later on, like, oh, this person might have had an issue with me. Oh, probably because I was black. I didn't care. Like, I think, like, it was like, oh, it was probably because I was black. I don't care. Yeah. You didn't say that shit to my face, so I really don't give a fuck. That's my attitude. It's like, you ain't saying it to my face, I don't give a fuck. You can say, and say, keep it on your breath. My face, because all bets are off.
Don't get to it. We're gonna get to it.
Don't get Brody, because you get Brody, you're going to feel it. But I never, for all intents and purposes, I never had to run into that problem because, and I had to keep my anger in check because I had a flip side to me. So, but I always kept my anger in check when it came to that. Luckily, because I don't, excuse me. Luckily, because I don't drink and I don't smoke. So that I had going for me. Because God forbid if I was drinking, I'd be probably a great story because I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't use drugs. It's like, yeah, it's best that, as someone who deals with a lot of issues coming out in the military, diagnosed with a couple things, but like going like in the ring, it was a great outlet to get off my frustrations, and at the same time, it was like, okay, I didn't think about it at the time, I didn't realize it at the time, but it helped a lot. It helped a lot at that time.
So you get good exercise and workout too.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Now because right now that's what I'm doing right now, back in training, and people think it's easy. When you haven't wrestled as long as I have, and then you're like picking up weight and losing weight, and my weight fluctuates. Right. So right now I'm in my heavy stage right now, but like I'm back in training and I get big. So when I'm lifting weights, I get big, like I get massive big. So I'm like, all right, I got to make sure I don't get too big. You get back, and I don't eat a lot of crazy food or anything. In fact, go ahead.
I was saying, you getting back in the ring?
No.
Oh.
That was like the number one question for years. People were like, "You're gonna get back?" No. Once I left the ring, that was it. I'll do commentary. I might go in the ring and hit someone, but that's it. I'm like, those days of me having a match and all that. I'm like, look, now if I'm doing a movie or something like that, and I'm being trained and I'm working with a stunt team and all, and I have done that. I have worked with stunt teams and all. Whole different animal. But because I have the wrestling experience, that does help me. It helps my experience as far as doing film. Film and TV and stuff. So that goes a long way. That does work to my advantage. And also being military trained and all that stuff definitely helps too. Definitely helps.
Did you play any other sports?
Other than football and wrestling, I played a little bit of basketball when I was younger. Played a little bit of basketball and baseball, but like I was never. So growing up, I grew up in a household where my dad was like, he was watching sports all the time. So you would think my dad was the coach of these teams because he's always yelling at the TV. You would think my dad was the coach or something. You're like, motherfucker, get out! And I'm like, God damn. So growing up. Like wrestling was my shit, but I wasn't like I can go to a live football game, like a NFL game or baseball game. That I always enjoyed. But watching it and going and watching games and all, that was never my thing. Like, but playing like wrestling games or something like that, yeah, I can, or playing games like NFL Blitz or something like that. Okay,
man, I missed that game. I missed the games.
Yes. Or NBA Jam, like NBA Jam was my other game. And I did a little bit of boxing. I did celebrity boxing for Damon Feltman. So we're talking about the early days. So I boxed against Sandman. And I won. I beat the shit out of
I know you
Sandman.
whooped his ass.
Yeah, I knocked him out. That's on camera. See, Sandman. I was supposed to go, but I went up against a forgot the MMA fighter. It was an MMA fighter. Whoever was going to be the winner was going to go up against Butterbean.
Yeah.
The MMA fighter won because he had more experience. Man, my arm. Like I will say this, as a wrestler, wrestling training is totally different from boxing training. I tell people all the time, it's a matter of endurance. And I tell people all the time, I have a lot of respect. I have a mad respect for boxers.
Right.
Because you got to be in there, man. You got to keep those arms up and all that. And I mean, you know, if I had the years of experience in training as a boxer, I pretty much could probably hold my own. But man, that's a lot of endurance. And the last time I had that kind of endurance was when I went up Marine Corps. So that endurance kind of came and went like years, later. So I was like, hell no. And even when I was working with my trainer, I had a boxing trainer. I was a professional boxing trainer I was working with. And that shit was no joke, man. I'm telling you, that shit is no joke. So yeah. But yeah, those are the only times I really dealt with sports like that in that capacity.
I got you. Was WWE ever an option, or you wasn't really trying to go that far?
Okay, so WWE, because like WWE would have been like, okay, so WWE is like the NFL. It's like, okay, you're doing the independent circuit, right?
Yeah.
You have the freedom to do A, B, and C now. You go to WWF or you go to WWF or WCW, you're constantly on the road.
Yeah. Like,
okay, give an example, right? I did this play called The Elaborate Life of Chad Deity, right? It's about this pro wrestler. Okay. I performed on stage. Mind you, this is like a theater, Broadway stage for 14 weeks.
Right.
I was a cast member. I was opening the show. We were showing the audience how wrestlers wrestle. So we're wrestling. Me and this other actor, we're doing the wrestling. We had a 5-minute wrestling match. We're doing this every night for 14 weeks. 14 weeks. Yeah, because altogether it was 14 weeks. So we had the initial rehearsals that were like maybe 4 weeks, and then we had it was 14 weeks. We had the training, because we had to work with the actors and show them how to take a bump after the fall. And then after initial training, we had the acting, all that stuff. And then from that point on, you went into the performance aspect of it. So then we were actually performing and all that good stuff. So I was the actor that was working with this other. I was the wrestler that was working with another actor. So we were going through the motions. 5-minute wrestling match, and I was always the bad guy, beating him up and all. And then the actor, he was a little skinny guy. He would beat me, and everybody would cheer him on, and everybody loved it and all. And then we would get ready for the next match, which was the actual show.
Right.
Doing that for weeks in and weeks out. Mind you, I was working. So I was working my 9 to 5. My wife, at that time, who was my fiance, would pick me up from work, drop me off, and then pick me back up. And then I had to go to work the next day. I was doing that for weeks.
It's like a double shift.
And I'm going to tell you right now, my back was I was in so much pain. Like my back was just like, and luckily I was in good shape. I was in decent shape. But I was taking bumps so much on my back. Like, you're bumping every night. Yeah. And mind you, it's a 5-minute match. It's just a 5-minute match. You go easy, go slow. So imagine you have a 10, 20-minute match. Every night is different. You're on the road constantly. You're traveling from one city to the next. Okay? So at that time, I was like, I knew, and also there's a lot of things that were expected. And as a person of color, and I just, for me, I had the opportunity to go to WCW to do the thing with NWO. And I was just like, in my heart of heart, I just knew I wasn't ready. And that's not something, it was like, I was cool with doing I was cool with doing what I was doing until I was ready. But by the time I was ready, the Monday Night Raw Wars had ended. WCW went over to WWF, and they became one. And when they became one, wrestling changed forever. Mm-hmm. So the mystique and everything like kind of left. And from that point on, I just like, other than working with Dangerous Women in Wrestling, which was doing their own thing, working with, New Jack and all that, I preferred doing that, working the independent circuit, than working with WWE, because it was too much bullshit. It was too much. That's when you had to play the politic game.
Yeah, I heard about stuff like that.
Yeah, so I was just like, nah, I just rather work the independent circuit. I had more freedom and I call my own shots. It wasn't like I was making a whole bunch of money, and I never was in. I didn't go into wrestling to make a whole bunch of money. I went into wrestling because of the experience, to have the fun, to be able to say I worked with this person, I wrestled with this person. I got a chance to do stuff that other people, could only dream of doing. I got a chance to work with, like Iron Sheik. Every time the Sheik would see me, he called me Rock, you jabroni, Rocky. I'm like, Sheik, I'm Smokey, you are jabroni. Smokey, you are jabroni. All this stuff. But he was cool shit. I loved him to death, man. Captain Lou Albano, Ivan Koloff. Like, again,
legends.
I got a chance to appear with them, work with them. George the Animal Steel, loved him. One of the very first people I ever got a chance to work with on a show. He was a college professor. There's a picture of me choking George, and George is like, and I'm like this and all, and we just having fun. But George was just gentleman, straight up gentleman. But yeah, like I said, man, I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of these legends and appear. The only person I really wish I never got a chance to meet was Rocky Maivia, not Rocky Maivia, Rocky's dad. Never got a chance to meet. I never got a chance to meet him. I really wanted to meet him. I almost was so close to meeting him. Because especially after I met Tony and all that, I was like, well, damn, I wanted to meet. I'm like, damn, I meet both of them. Ron Simmons, I've talked with before. Booker T, of course, there's pictures of me and Book. I met Ron Simmons when I was in the Marine Corps at the time. So when they were doing a show in North Carolina, when I was stationed at
you was at Fort Bragg?
What's that?
You was at Fort Bragg?
Not Fort Bragg. In North Carolina for the Marine Corps. What's that base called? Not 29 Palms. Is it not 29 Palms? I'm thinking of LA. God. Oh my God. One thing doggone it. Camp Lejeune.
Oh, okay.
Camp Lejeune. So I was out there. So they were doing a show in that area and all, and I met him and my man that was the white version of he was the white version of what's his name? What's his name? His Sable was his wife. What's his name? God darn it.
Oh, Mark
Johnny
Merrill.
B. Bad. Johnny B. Bad.
Yeah. Mark Merrill.
But he reminded me of a white version of what you call it?
Little Richard.
Little Richard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, he does look a white version of Little Richard.
He looked just like him for real.
Like Little Richard with a deep dark tan.
Yeah.
Like a light skin version of Little Richard.
Johnny.
But yeah, man, those are the days. Those are the days.
Oh, what you about to say?
I was just about to say, I'm glad you didn't, get seriously injured, like a career injury type, like how Stone Cold, Edge, like a lot of people, they injured themselves and they were forcibly, had to quit. So
yeah, and it's weird to see them now. I look at Batista, I look at a lot of these, even Dwayne. Like Dwayne got smaller, and I was like, wow, man, like, they lost their mass and all. Like when I met Batista, I thought Batista was gonna be taller than me. I'm like, I'm 6'3.5", and I'm like, damn, I'm taller than Batista. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, what the fuck? That messed me up. But like Dwayne, like it's weird, Austin, he lost his mask, but I guess it comes with the territory. When you get older, even John Cena, like John Cena lost his mask and all that stuff. I said when you get off that juice and all, because let's keep it real, they use some type of enhancers to, I never, people ask me, have you ever used enhancers? I'm like, nah. Supplements, yes. Enhancers, no. I never, because I know there's repercussions behind that shit. I'm like, like I said, I haven't because I'm still a big guy. And I'm like, I still need to lose this weight. I'm like, yeah, so yeah. Now, if I'm walking around like this, I don't know if y'all can see it. What's up, y'all? Well, no, here we go. I'm walking around like this. If I'm walking around like this, what's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? If you smell what the
smoke on that
shit. Smoking something,
So have you ever thought about doing some voiceover work?
I have done a little bit. In fact, when I was working with Dangerous Women in Wrestling, they had the soundtrack for how WWE had the soundtrack for wrestling entrances and so we had a soundtrack for our show, and for my theme, I did all the voices on the theme. So I was like, we interrupt this broadcast, and I was doing this white guy's voice, and when I let people hear it, and people were like, "That's not you," and I'm like, move it out of the way. You're talking to the greatest word, and people were like, "Wait a second, but that's not you. That's not who's that white guy on there?" I said, "That's me." No, that's not you. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that.
Okay,
but I wanted to dabble in doing anime or some type of like any kind of voiceover work, whether it's video games, mocap. If the opportunity presents itself, you can best believe I did. Without giving this person any shine, I did do a comic book where I did some voiceover work, but it never went anywhere, or it did, but this person got too jaded, and I kind of just didn't want to bother with the person, so I was just like, you know what, whatever. It was an experience, and I'm like, okay, I can at least say it was an experience, but it's not something I'm going to give this person any airtime and like, oh yeah, this person was nah, I'd rather not. But but it was an experience nonetheless. So I just know when the time comes, I do voiceover work. I'm like, but I mean, I did ADR work for when it came to my like films. I've worked on films, fan films, and independent films and stuff like that. So
okay,
I do know how to do ADR when I have to do ADR and stuff like that. So yes, and to get the takes right and all, you're like, we need to do 5, 6, 7 takes of the same word, different levels. And you're like, here's my water. You're like, all right.
That's fun, man.
That's dope.
I love that stuff.
Yes, can I have a glass of water? 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 Yo, mate, can I have a glass of water? Stuff like that. So, we need different inflections. We need you to be more angrier. Yo, man, give me some more water. Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. You done it all, brother. You done it all.
I haven't even begun yet.
I tell you need a book, man.
I have not even begun yet. Y'all don't know. There's so much more to tell, but I'm only scratching the surface, man. I'm only scratching the surface.
You know what that says to me? You got to come back. That's all.
Well, whenever y'all want me to come back, I'm dog. I haven't had this much. I've been on other shows and I've had a lot of fun, but I mean, this is again, I get to cut loose and just have fun, man. I'm having a really good time.
That's what
Y'all make it easy. Y'all make it easy.
We got a good track record.
Dude, I love the stories, man. Like, dang, bro, this joke just interesting.
I'm glad that you've enjoyed yourself. Like I said, this has been nothing but like you said, an experience beyond, no pun intended, beyond measures, beyond words. We thank you so much for blessing us with your time and
for real.
You said the stories And you also had a lot of knowledge with it too. That's what we also love about guests like you.
Yeah.
You brought a lot of knowledge. I feel like people, when they do listen and watch this, they're gonna take something and learn something from it. So we really appreciate you, man. I guess
Most definitely.
last thing, what's something that you're doing right now, or got something coming the rest of the year to kind of pitch out for people to tap in.
Let's see. On the weekend of this September 11th and the 12th, I'll be appearing at RetroCon. I'll be hosting the cosplay contest as well as some celebrity panels with Michael Bean from Aliens, as well as Bill Mooney and Angela Cartwright from Lost in Space. Also, I will be performing with Cybertronic Spree, Transformers band that basically plays everything Transformers and all. I having the time of my life. I'll just say I'm going to be appearing as a certain Transformer that everyone loves until all are one. Also, I have I might be appearing before the year is out at a couple more spots, possibly New York Comic Con. But I'll be letting people know on my social media accounts, which you can find me on Instagram, The Smoke 007, YouTube, The Smoke 007, Facebook, TikTok, Eric the Smoke Moran. And if you're not sure, everyone, just type up Eric the Smoke Moran on Google and everything will come up. IMBD, everything, my whole track record will come up.
And it's funny you say that because the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Blerd Beyond, we right there, on all platforms. We are on, like I said, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We also have a group page on Facebook called the Black Space Rangers. So be sure to tap in with that. That's where you get all the new topics and new information. We also like to dibble and dabble in the nostalgia as well. So you'll get everything on that page. So just please become an honorary Space Ranger today. And then we also are getting into the new con worlds of we just recently was at GalaxyCon Raleigh, where the turnout was amazing. A lot of people were tapping in with us, and we plan to go to a lot of new cons in the near future. We might even be there with Mr. Eric the Smoke Moran.
I'm hoping y'all make it out to BlerdCon next year.
Yeah,
I already got my tickets. Y'all need to come out.
It's
coming out in March, and they're doing a wrestling theme next year.
Okay.
This year they had they had like more of a hip hop theme this year. Next year is a wrestling theme. So they had this year they had Godfrey. They had some of the writers from the Boondocks, the creators for Afro Samurai. Just to name a few, like a lot of, they had my girl Zoe Beats there and stuff like that. So Redman was there this year. It's like I said, you guys need to come out to BlerdCon next year in March.
Hey,
I'll definitely be there.
Y'all hear them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Be tapping in at BlerdCon. So y'all go ahead and get your tickets so you can meet your boys at the BlerdCon and future cons in the near future. If all hearts and minds are clear,
always remember. Go ahead, say. Go ahead, say.
What? Always remember.
Always remember. Go beyond.